Real Madrid took care of business in the Intercontinental Cup final against Pachuca and won their second trophy of the season so far. So now it's time to look ahead to some La Liga action because Real Madrid on Sunday at the Bernabéu in the league will be taking on Sevilla, the last game of the year before January comes around. And this is a pretty big game. And it's also our first game back at the Bernabéu for some time. I feel like this whole month we've been on the road. So we got to end the year on a high note. And Sevilla are a very big club. So we can't just discount them because they are sitting in the bottom half of the league. But I need you guys to smash that like button, get in the comment section, and let me know what you're thinking about for this game. As always on the match previews, we're going to get into the team news for both of the squads. And then towards the end of the video, I will be building the expected 11 that I think Carlo Ancelotti needs to play against this team. But let's get into it, chat, because it's so much to talk about. Now, if you look at the La Liga table, Real Madrid have dropped. They are now sitting third. They are 1 point off from Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Now, what's crazy is this weekend, Atleti and Barcelona, they will be playing each other. So we have to just hope that they draw, right? We don't need anybody winning that game because we need to keep up with them. And the last game that we played, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, was against Rayo Vallecano. And we got a draw. We fumbled it. We had a chance to be top of the league right now. And we were so worried about what Barcelona were doing that we let Atletico Madrid come in and leapfrog us because they have been on a very good winning streak. But in the league, right, we played 17 games. We still do have a game in hand, just like Atleti do, honestly. They have a game in hand as well. But we got to play that Valencia match that's going to take place in January, more than likely. But in the first 17 games of the season, right, we've won 11. We've drawn 4 times. We've lost twice. We have a plus 21 goal difference, right? We've bagged, I think, it says 37 goals, and we've allowed 16. So it looks good on paper. But when you actually deep it, you guys already know where I'm going with this. I just don't think that our form has been good enough so far this season. We've struggled for a large part of the season. We've had maybe a handful of games where we've actually looked good. The side looks imbalanced. I've seen more losses this season than I saw in the last 20 months. And then you want to factor in all the injuries that we have as well. I mean, it's just an absolute joke. But just look at the form that Madrid are on, right? So as I said earlier, our last game was against Pachuca. We won that, right? Then before that in La Liga, we got a 3-3 draw against Vallecano. We're going to talk about both of those games in just a few minutes. And then we ended up beating Atalanta, right? We beat Girona, but then we lost to Bilbao, right? We beat Getafe, lost to Liverpool. Again, it's just like up and down. And then even in the games that we were getting some of these dubs in, the performances just were not good. Like, they were not convincing wins. Like, we've really gotten away with it in a few of these matchups. But nonetheless, right, the La Liga title race is still wide open. I'm just showing you guys the form, right? Because the first L that we had this season was against Lille in the UCL. And then after that, Barcelona, they absolutely destroyed us in El Clasico at the Bernabéu, nonetheless. And then the Valencia match got postponed. So this is why we have a game in hand. We lost to AC Milan. And then after we lost to AC Milan, right, we end up losing to Liverpool. Then we lose to Bilbao. And now here we are. Sevilla are a very tricky team. We got to be careful because earlier in the season, their form wasn't that good, right? Sevilla were sitting damn near at bottom. Like, they were bad. For a club that has so much history and that have won so many European trophies, I consider them a big club. I don't think they were good enough early on this season, but their form has picked up. And we'll get into them a little later in the video. But just to touch on the 2 games that we did play before this match, right? So the last game in La Liga against Vallecano, real quick, chat. Let's just talk about that disaster class that we had defensively. That was an awful performance from Real Madrid. The fact that we let Rayo Vallecano score 3 goals and we looked so disorganized at the back is an absolute joke. Man like Johnny Sins, Mr. Clean, Issy Palzone, cooking us. Lucas Vasquez continues to be a liability. Chouameni, Rudiger, Fran Garcia, even Courtois that game were all so subpar. And I'm telling you, the way to unlock Madrid's defense to get your best chances, put that ball into the air. Cross it, or from set pieces. If you put the ball into the box, our defense has no idea how to stop you. Because that's what we saw. All three of Vallecano's goals, they all came from the ball being put in the air into the box. It's an absolute joke. I think offensively, we struggled a little bit as well. And again, first half, we just cannot seem to start games off fast. I don't know why. We are second half FC for a reason. Rayo Vallecano, they punished us. That draw felt like a loss because with all the context heading into this match, knowing that if we just win this game, we go top of the league, and then to see us go out there and look like absolute clowns in defense, it really pissed me off. But it's just something about playing Rayo Vallecano that really F's us up. Like when we go to their ground, we usually struggle. They're basically a bogey team for us. But that's still no excuse. But yeah, this was the last game that we played in La Liga. Bad result, right? That was a good point for Rayo Vallecano because they were the underdogs, right? They're just trying to get into the top half and remain there. We are the team that are trying to win the league. And that performance that I saw against Vallecano, if we give Sevilla those chances, they'll punish us. Now, the last game that we played, right, just in general, was the Intercontinental Cup final. We ended up beating Pachuca 3-0. And while I am happy because we got our second trophy of the season, this was not the best performance from the squad. Like, if we're going to be completely honest, I think that Pachuca, they were the better team early in the game. Up until Mbappe scored that goal, it was all them. And then second half came out, and we absolutely dominated them, right? Rodrigo scored an amazing solo goal, right? He's been on some great form. He scored against Pachuca, and then he also got a goal, and he got an assist against Rayo Vallecano. So Rodrigo is coming into his best, right? Vinicius was out there on the left wing, cooking. Jude had a solid game as well. But again, we just start off games very slow. Pachuca are not a good team. Yes, they've done well to reach the final of that competition, right? They beat Botafogo, they beat Al Ahly, but in their league, they're trash. They're currently sitting 16th out of 18 teams in the Mexican First Division. And we went out there and we let them have chances in that first half. We're just lucky that they don't have the quality to put away some of those opportunities that they created. But I also think that that game was an opportunity for us to maybe rotate the squad, right? Maybe give some of our players who've been out there week in, week out a rest. And we'll talk about that when I get into building my starting 11. But I think Carlo Ancelotti, he definitely should have rotated a bit more so that the players could be a little more fresh for this Sevilla match. But nonetheless, a draw and a win is the form that we are coming into this matchup against Sevilla with. So the form is up and down. Now, let's get into the ops, right? Let's talk about Sevilla this season. So they are currently sitting 11th in La Liga, right? In 17 games, they've only won 6. They've drawn 4 times, and they've lost 7. They have a -5 goal difference. They've conceded more goals than games that they've played. Now, we all know that when teams go against Madrid, right, they turn into prime freaking Barcelona. They turn into prime Manchester United. They look so solid defensively. Their goalkeeper is making saves that he's never made before. So I'm not going to even really factor in their form because we've played teams who've been on some pretty mid to shit form. And when it comes to going against us, they end up going crazy. But Sevilla are sitting 11th, right? And I'm going to be real. The last time that I watched Sevilla play, because I don't watch them often, I did a hate watch when they played Barcelona. And Barca absolutely cooked them. And I told you, that Sevilla early on in the season, they were not doing good. And if I'm looking at what they've done recently, right? Their last game, they beat Celta 1-0. And then they played Atletico Madrid and they lost 4-3. So again, Atletico has been on some good form. And it looks like Sevilla gave them a good game, right? I'm trying to look at if they've gotten a dub over anybody that's big. Well, they did beat Rayo Vallecano, the team that we drew against. They've had a few Copa del Rey matches. Yeah, man, they lost to Valladolid. They lost to Leganés. They drew at Osasuna. Bro, this is not a team that should be beating us. I'm being so serious. Yeah, look, this is the last time that I watched Sevilla play when Barcelona beat them 5-1. It was an awful hate watch experience. They were absolutely battering Sevilla. Let me see. They beat Espanyol. They did beat Real Betis, and they had a red card. Betis are a decent team. Yeah, again, look, they lost to Girona. So they haven't really beat anybody notable, right? But again, if you watch Sevilla play, right? Again, I've only watched them 1 or 2 times this season. So I'm not really locked in on them to know if they've just been unlucky or if they really are shit. So I need you to get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Sevilla from this season. Now, real quick, let's just look at their squad, right? Because I think that Sevilla, they do have some talent in their 11 that they'll probably be able to put out there to give us some issues. So, like, they got, like, look, Loic Bade, the French defender. I think he's a pretty good player, right? They also have Romero. They got, we're actually looking at this kid. They're right back. Juanlu Sanchez. I swear we're being linked to him. They also have, hold on, wait a minute. Is this the player that Real Madrid are linked to? Juanlu Sanchez. I swear I've seen reports saying that he is a target that the club are evaluating for January. So, you know, let's key in on him then when we play them. Because if we're looking at him, he clearly is a very talented player. I haven't really heard of him before, but let's see what he does against us when we play them, right? They also have Luke Bacchio. They got Sambi Lokongo on loan from Arsenal. Valentin Barca is there. I hear Nacho. Gonzalo Montiel. What the hell? Interesting. Saul Niguez is there as well. I think, yeah, Jesus Navas retired. Chat, let me know who the danger men are for Sevilla squad, all right? Get in the comment section. Keep me up to date with them. And then let's also talk about some of the injuries, right? So they're probably not going to have a few players that they would normally rely on, right? Like Sal, he has a thigh injury. They're saying that he's out until early January. Pedrosa, they're saying he's not going to be back until January. Nianzu, he's doubtful, right? Another talented front center back. I feel like he's fallen off a cliff, though. I remember I used to hear about him and how highly rated he was. And now I don't hear about him anymore. I completely forgot about him. And then also Ijuk is out until January. So 4 players that they're not going to have. Let me see if anybody else is possibly injured. Yeah, Sambi Lokongo. He might not be available for this match. They're saying that his injury is a muscle one, and he's out until late December. Yeah, it's crazy. So here are the injuries that Sevilla have. Yeah, that's going to hurt them for this game. Now, I do want to get into some of the injuries and suspension updates that we have at Real Madrid. And the most notable player that's not going to be there is Vinicius. He is suspended for this match. He picked up a yellow card against Rayo Vallecano, and he just accumulated too many cards. So now he's not going to be available for this game. Super annoying, but I think regardless of Vinicius being there or not, we should still be able to go out there and get the 3 points. But it's just annoying because Vinicius, he needs to keep his head a little bit better. I think he gets triggered way too easily, and he's always complaining to the referees. And it's just like, brother, relax sometimes. Like, Vinicius never gets carded for footballing reasons. Every single time he gets carded, it's because he's complaining to the referee or doing something like that. And it's like, Vinicius has to learn how to control his emotions. Because if I was a defender going against Vinny, I would be able to throw him off his game by just rattling him. That's it. I would just be saying stuff to him, and he's going to lose his head. But yeah, man, it does suck that he's not going to be out there. But as I said, I still think that we're good enough to where even though Vinny is not going to be available, I'm still expecting a commanding 3 points. But yes, not having our best player, not having one of the best players in the world out there is going to be a detriment to the team. Because now, if we do end up struggling a little bit, there's no Vinicius to rely on. So, look, it's annoying, but he is suspended for this match. Now, a player who may be back for this game, I don't think he will play, but just a quick update. Ferland Mendy is back in training. The left back who is, in my opinion, our best defensive left back. I don't care if the stats show you that Fran Garcia has been better this season. We all know that Ferland Mendy defensively is a very good player. I get that a lot of people don't rate him. I get that a lot of people want him to be sold and dropped. But right now, when we're going against teams that have very good wingers, I'd much rather have Ferland Mendy out there than have Fran Garcia, with all due respect. So he is back in training. I highly doubt he will feature in this game. But maybe he does end up playing. I just don't think we should risk it. Like, why? Put out Fran Garcia again, right? He's been doing a decent job. And again, this is a game where we should be dominating possession. So, you know, again, Ferland Mendy is back, and I don't care what anybody tells me. This is a boost defensively for our side. And just to kind of give you an overview of some of the other injuries that we have, right? So we talked about Ferland Mendy. Jacobo Raman is injured. Eder Militao is out for the season. Danny Carvajal is out for the season. Both of them done their ACLs. David Alaba is back in training after he got an ACL injury last season. So we're not going to see him until January. And then Vinicius, he's suspended for this match. And Lucas Vasquez, he's not suspended for this match, but he is suspended for our next Champions League game. So, you know, even though I don't want to see Lucas Vasquez play, more than likely he will be out there. But just to let you guys know, he's only suspended for the UCL. Vinny is suspended for this game against Sevilla. Now, chat, it is time for my favorite part of the match previews. We are going to build the starting 11 that I think Carlo Ancelotti needs to put out there for this matchup against Sevilla. So I need you guys to get in that comment section and let me know what starting 11 you want to see, or let me know if you agree or disagree with the team that I'm about to predict. So I think that we're going to go out there in the 4-2-3-1, right? We saw that against Pachuca, and I think the 4-2-3-1 is our best formation. It gives us the most balance on and off the ball. I don't want to see a 4-4-2 flat. I'm going to lose my mind if I see that formation again. We need to stick in the 4-2-3-1. Now, let's get into it. As I said before, right? I think that the game against Pachuca would have been a great opportunity for us to rotate the side, right? Because now I think in this game, we do have to go pretty strong. Against Pachuca, I think that we could have let some of the squad players that are not necessarily starters get a lot more minutes so that we could come into this Sevilla match fresh. But whatever. Let's talk about it, though. So Thibaut Courtois, I think, will make another start, right? And look, no problem with that. Courtois, best goalkeeper in the world, right? Has been arguably our most consistent player this season. The only game that I could really say that he wasn't good was against Vallecano, right? I think that he made some lapse in judgment for a few of those goals, right? I think he could have been a lot better the last time we played in La Liga. But again, Thibaut Courtois has credit in the bank because he saved us so many times this season that if he makes one mistake, how can I really get onto him? And on top of that, when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it gets highlighted a lot more because usually a goalkeeper error leads to a goal. So attackers, midfielders, they all make mistakes and they get away with it. So Thibaut Courtois, it's all good, buddy. You're back in the starting 11, right? I would love to see Lunin play, but I just don't think that we'll see Lunin until our Copa del Rey match, which is going to be next month. So, you know, it is what it is. But Courtois in goal. Now, at right back, I am not going to go for Lucas Vasquez. I am going for Raul Asensio And of course, Raul Asensio is not in the database for the lineup builder. So again, just picture him at right back because obviously he's not going to get in over Tchouaméni at center back, right? Carlo Ancelotti just seems to think that Tchouaméni is a better defender than Raul Asensio. It makes no sense to me. I think Asensio did nothing to be dropped. Since Militao has went down, he's been our best defender. And the fact that he's played at a very high level every game that he was involved in and he's just been dropped is a disgrace. I think it sends the wrong message to the squad, especially the younger players who are in the academy that are going to be looking to break through. Because if Raul Asensio is being dropped for a DM, then that just tells you Carlo does not trust the youth, which is a shame. But Raul Asensio, for me, needs to be at right back because Lucas Vazquez is a massive liability. And I think that Carlo wants to play Asensio at right back. And you saw him get subbed on at right back against Pachuca. Raul Asensio is better defensively, and we've seen his ball progression. He's very good on the ball. Asensio's a good passer as well. We saw that assist that he got for Jude in his first ever game for Real Madrid with Osasuna, right? We've seen this guy carry the ball from the back line into the final third. So I think he could also give you an attacking threat as well. But we need our right back to just not be a liability. And that's what Lucas Vazquez is. So I'm going with Raul Asensio at right back. Now, at right center back, I'm not going to even debate it. It's Tchouaméni, right? We all know that Tchouaméni is going to be starting. And the thing is, Tchouaméni is a good player, right? He's one of the best DMs in the world, and he can play at center back and do a good job. We saw him do it last season. We're seeing him do it this season. Tchouaméni is not a bad center back, right? And because we just didn't spend any money in the summer window, we didn't get in any squad depth. So now with all these injuries that we have, just like last season, Tchouaméni has to be in the back line. Even though I've been arguing that Asensio should be starting there, I don't really have an issue with Tchouaméni starting as long as we find a way to incorporate Asensio as well. Now, at left center back, Rudiger, right? Rudiger has, again, as I always say, chat, Rudiger has no choice. He must play damn near every single game. The Pachuca matchup was a good opportunity to rest him. Carlo Ancelotti decided not to, so he will be back out there on Sunday. Rudiger is our best defender. He's not been at the same level that he was last season, but he's the best that we have, and there's no other options because if you're not going to play Rudiger there, then maybe you could play Asensio. But then if not Asensio, because we know that Carlo don't trust the youth, then you got to play Jesus Vallejo. And I don't think anybody wants to really see Vallejo play. So Rudiger, Tchouaméni, center back pairing. Again, the right back spot, I am saying Raul Asensio. Now, left back, Fran Garcia. I know that Ferland Mendy is back in training, but I don't think he'll be able to start this game, right? He's missed the last 3-4 weeks, and I think it'd be a mistake to just throw him out there. I think Fran Garcia has done a good job when he's been at left back for a majority of the games. I think that he also gives us an attacking threat. He's an excellent crosser of the ball. He's great at overlapping and giving the left winger another option, which also creates space as well. So Fran Garcia, I think that he starts this game. No issues with that. Now, in the double pivot, I'm going with Camavinga, right? Camavinga, he made his first start after injury against Pachuca, and I think that he does get another start against Sevilla, right? No problem with Camavinga out there, one of the best young midfielders in the world. And even though he's very good defensively, I say it all the time, chat, I view Camavinga as more of an 8 because I think that his ball progression is just so damn good that only having him play in a 6 role and staying back, you're not going to get the best out of him. But he will be out there, I believe, in that double pivot right next to Valverde. Now, again, Valverde is another player that played heavy minutes against Pachuca that I thought could have been rested. But Valverde, look, this guy is one of our most durable players. He's such a gem in that midfield, one of the best 8s in the world. This guy can do anything. You need him to play in the pivot, he's there. If you need him to play on the right wing, he can do it. If you need him at right back, he can do that as well. I'd much rather him be at right back than Vazquez. Point is, he can do whatever you need. If you want an assist, he's there. If you want a free kick goal, he's there. If you want a long range, solo, individual brilliance kind of goal, Valverde is there. This guy is phenomenal. What a player He is very underrated. So big up to my guy Valverde. I think that he will be out there alongside Camavinga in the pivot. Now, let's go to the right. I think Arda Güler needs to start this match. For me, Arda Güler is a special player. He didn't really get that many minutes against Pachuca, so I think he should definitely be rewarded with the starting spot in this game, right? He's the only player that we have that when he starts on the right wing, he stays on the right. He gives us that balance in our attack because he can drift in and also take long-range shots, right? He can create chances. He's a great crosser. He's great on set pieces. This is a generational talent. I don't care what anybody tells me. The only difference between Arda Güler and some of these other players who are considered generational is that his play time is limited because Carlo is having a hard time trusting the young players, which is an absolute joke. I think, again, I say it all the time, Arda Güler is the answer to a lot of the problems that we've been having in our attack. This is a game that he should be starting in. I know that people might say, well, what about Brahim? For me, Brahim is better off the bench. Whenever Brahim starts a game, I'm just not impressed by him. I think he does a good job, and I do rate Brahim Diaz, but I think his role is better suited when he's being subbed on in about the 60th minute. I know people may not agree with that, but I think that's just when he's most impactful. Again, name me a Brahim performance this season where he started and he played really well. Again, Arda Güler, for me, needs to start, especially with Vinicius being injured, because now we do have to move some things around with our attack. Now, in the 10, going with Jude. Best midfielder in the world right now. On form. Jude Bellingham has been amazing this season, even with his lack of GA. Now, the GA is starting to pick up lately, but even before that, this guy is an all-around monster in the midfield. He's involved in the build-up. He's involved in the defensive help. He can do everything. Jude does not really have any weakness. And I think he will be out there in the 10. The closer that we have Jude to the box, the better, right? Whether he's crashing the box or he's helping get everybody else involved, right? Now, obviously, I prefer Jude as more of an 8, right? I think that's where Jude is best at, as being a box-to-box midfielder. But he can play in the 10 at a high level. It's just about building the chemistry between him and the striker. Last season, we saw him play as that striker/false 10, and he cooked. And I think he played in the 10 against Pachuca, and he had a very good performance, right? Against Sevilla. Sorry, not Sevilla, because we're about to play Sevilla. Against Vallecano. He was decent in that game, got a goal as well, right? Against Atalanta, Bilbao, all these games, Jude has been putting us on his back. So I think that he will be out there. Now, on the left, right, chat, remember, Vinicius is suspended for this match. So on the left wing, I am going with Rodrigo. Rodrigo has been on some great form. The guy scored against Pachuca in the final, right? A great solo goal. And then he also got a goal against Rayo Vallecano and got an assist. Rodrigo, his form is picking up. And I think that he should be allowed to play in his preferred position, which is on the left, right? Rodrigo on the left wing is a top 5 winger in the world. And I always tell you, we're never going to get the best out of Rodrigo because he's not going to get many opportunities to play on the left. But when Vinicius is injured, put Rodrigo on the right or on the left. Sorry. This is his best position. And I know that some people might say, oh, well, what about Mbappe? No, Mbappe needs to start as the striker because I need Mbappe to get adjusted to playing more central. Because when Vinicius comes back, then Vinny needs to be on the left. Mbappe, when he decided to join Real Madrid, he knew that we needed a striker. He knew that the left wing was not a need for us. So by him agreeing to come here, I'm fully expecting him to adjust and to get better playing more central. But again, Rodrigo can also play central and do a good job. So I think that there will be times in this game where you kind of see it look more like this, right? This is kind of how I think that we'll end up looking with our positioning. And then you may see Rodrigo invert and then Mbappe go on the left, right? They could just switch in and out. It just depends, right? They're going to have to talk to each other. So this is how I think that we line up, right? And I fully expect us to go out there and to absolutely cook Sevilla. But chat, Let me know what you guys think about my expected starting 11. Don't forget the right back spot. I would like to see Raul Asensio be out there, because if Lucas Vazquez starts this game, I have no idea who Sevilla's left winger is, but they will cook if Lucas Vazquez is out there. I can tell you that for free. But big up to your damn selves, guys, right? I need you guys to smash that like button, get in the chat, and give me any opinions that you have for this game. Also, do not forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications, because we will be doing a watch along for this game right here on the channel. You guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be lit. We're going to be losing our minds. This is the last game of the calendar year before we go into a little break, and then January starts. So we need to head into the new year on a high. We just won our second trophy of the season. Now I want to see us go get 3 points against Sevilla. Get your score predictions in the comment section as well. I will give my prediction right before kickoff on the watch along. Hope to see you guys there. Holla Madrid!